Good day, Colorado. Good evening, Europe. Good evening, UK. Good evening, Serbia. Good evening, France. Good evening, Croatia. Good evening, wherever you are for some reason watching us. My name is Miroslav Cuk. I'm calling from Pančevo, Serbia. Right on my right is the only guy that usually has a better hair day than Brad Pitt. This is our Brad from UK. Good evening, my friend.
Don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Good evening, Miroslav. Thank you for having me as always. No, it's not bad. Lockdown, huh? Lockdown.
Okay, the only reason why you think Benjamin Franklin is a great person is because you didn't meet our Benjamin in person. So, Benji, how are you doing tonight?
Oh man, I'm great. It's been too long, man. It's been too long since I've spoken to you. It's exciting for the show.
Excellent. U Srbiji ga svi znaju kao Dušana Jovanovića. In France, il nom est Duvalier Johnson. And in the US, we all know him as superstar Dev Johnson. Good day to you, sir.
How's it going? And also, you forgot to let everybody know that I am now Serbian as well. So,
yes,
I'm known. I have a cool name in Serbia. I'm still working on how to say it, but I know that I'm Serbian now.
Yeah, we'll work on it tonight.
Good stuff.
Okay, guys, we are now at the point of Nuggets season after 30 games. Nuggets are 16-14. If you asked me like 2 months ago where we will be at after 30 games, I would say probably like 20-10, maybe 19-11, something like that. So some things are obviously a bit off comparing to our expectation before the season. But about the general state of Nuggets after 30 games, I would like to give you a little story about the evolution of Nuggets since the season of 17-18 up until just now, because we have Dev, who is a love doctor. He usually makes really nice comparisons to relationship when speaking about basketball. So I will do it a bit differently. I will make some kind of a family comparison. So in the season 17-18, we as fans were still dating the Nuggets. Everything was really fun. We went to concerts, we went to the movies. It was really fun, really fun. We missed the playoffs, but it was so fun, so joyful. We actually, before this season, we had Harrison Wind on our show, and I asked him, what does he expect from this season? Does he expect a very fun season because, you know, the team is so good and everything, or a really stressful season because the expectations are really great? And he said, fun. And I said, man, you're in for something different. So then we got to season 18-19, and that was our honeymoon with the Nuggets. We finally went to the playoffs. We went to second round. We almost made to the third round, to the Western Finals. So it was really nice still, honeymoon. Then the 1920 came, and we got our baby with the Nugs. And baby was cute and cuddly, although we slept less and went on some emotional roller coasters, as you remember. It was really a baby last year. And this season, our baby is now a toddler, running into danger all the time. We are exhausted after every experience with them. And we keep wondering what we did wrong with it just before it started running. So now we're in the toddler season. So this is why it's so stressful. This is why it looks bad on the outside. But Dev, give us some hope, or don't.
Well, first off, that was such a great story. That reminded me of my relationship that I was in high school, you know, reminded me so much of that. Came in from 8th grade with a new girlfriend. Nobody knew her. People just thought that she was pretty. Then she got into the school and everybody's like, okay, like she's a pretty good girl. Then she had her glow up, and come senior year, everybody wanted her. Everybody wanted to just break up our relationship and try to mess it up and think that things were not going well. And there was a rocky time for me and her, but you know, like we're still together. We're still talking. We're still trying to figure things out. Even though it doesn't look the same as what everybody else thought it was going to be or how it used to be in the past, it's going good now. And I think that that's what the Nuggets are. They're not doing well right now. They're not where we expected them to be, but they're actually trending in the right directions, and they're doing everything for the future. And that's what you want for the Nuggets team. Right now, we're saying that we're not having fun, but we're still not a losing team. We're still not a rebuilding team. The Nuggets are not a team that every single time out you think that they're going to lose or they're tanking games. Like, that's when it becomes scary, and that's when it becomes bad. And the Nuggets do not have that. They're still trying to figure each other out with the new bunch. They had, 6 new guys come in, and they're still trying to work that out. Then you have this person in Michael Porter Jr. who's super duper talented, but just has not figured it out yet. So you're still trying to figure him out and try to get him acclimated, because you have this unicorn, beautiful man in Nikola Jokic, who plays the right way, who's transcendent, who does everything perfect that you need. But you still need everyone else to get up to him. And it's really hard to play with a player like Jokic. We have not, these guys have never played with a player that talented before. So they're still trying to figure out Jokic, and he's still trying to figure himself out. He's taken a leap. He's one of the best players in the entire world. And we're still trying to figure it out. So we're going to get there, and it's not going to be beautiful, but in the end, it's going to be great.
Okay, Brad, so as Dev said, we have really a superstar in both him and Jokic right now. And we have Jamal Murray, who is finally getting into real shape. I would say he's like scoring 30 points a game in the last 6-7 games. What does the rest of the squad need to do to turn things around? Is it possible?
Anything's possible. They just need to take that big step, have a bit of faith in themselves. I mean, you're playing, as Dev said, a unicorn. I prefer to call him a god, because he does transcend. He makes everyone great. Everyone around him a much better person and a player. It's great to see Murray hitting back into form. I mean, that postseason last year must have taken an awful lot out of him. I mean, the injuries have really taken its toll this year, I think. So yeah, the last 3 games have been pretty good to see him back. But yeah, I think everyone else, we always say you never skip steps, and you don't. These are other little baby steps that we need to take. But they'll get there. I mean, as you say, these are young guys that are still learning. So I mean, there's a couple who aren't learning, but they'll catch up, I'm sure.
Ben, how different is this season so far comparing to your expectations?
I mean, look, last season was just so much fun, wasn't it? And how well did they do? I mean, defying everyone's expectations, including personally my own, like getting to the Western Conference Finals. Those playoffs were so much fun in the bubble to watch. And when you get a taste of it, and you get a taste of just, being one of those top upper echelon teams, and what's even more painful is seeing Utah slide into that spot. It's like slide into the top of it. Everyone's talking about the Lakers, everyone's talking about the Clippers, and then Denver last year were the other team that everyone was kind of starting to talk about a little bit. Now it's like everyone's talking about the Lakers, everyone's talking about the Clippers, of course, and now everyone's talking about Utah, and it's like we're sitting down in the 7th, 8th seed. It hasn't been as I expected a lot more from this season, but also at the same time, I keep saying to myself, it's always in the back of my head. We do have 7 new players on this roster. There are 7 new players coming into this roster. That is something that is going to take any team. It doesn't matter who they are. Time to gel and time to learn how to play with each other and get it clicking. And all season long this season, I've been saying, I can't wait till it clicks. I can't wait till it clicks. And there's been moments. There definitely have been moments where I've thought, oh, here we go. This is clicking. And even not even talking about the individual performances of Jokic and Murray. And I think there was a game against Dallas that MPJ just won us that game against Dallas maybe a month or so ago. Obviously, there's individual performances, but as a team, there have definitely been moments where it was clicking. You remember the whole Jermichael Green, Michael Porter Jr. off the bench was looking really, really good and strong, and maybe we found some cohesion there. I think it will click. I really do. And I don't want to just toss this season in the garbage. I really don't, because I feel like we could still go on a run. We could still have like a 7-game win streak in us that will propel us to that next, echelon, that kind of next level of, okay, we're now in the 4th seed. Because the worst thing as well is I don't want to waste this Jokic MVP season, man, because the only thing that people have to say about this Jokic MVP season is that the seed isn't good enough for the team. Let's get that seed up there. And I think we can. I don't want to give up on it. When it clicks, it will start clicking. We go on a run. I still believe.
Yes, and Dev, your mic have been muted. Okay, so what I wanted to ask you is, this is a really strange season. We have no idea how it will roll out all the way to the end. God knows what will happen in the second half of the schedule. We have a lot of games postponed for the second half, and God knows if they will be even possible to be held. And we have really, really strong Lakers that are probably even more strong than last year. Is this the year when the Nuggets should go for an upgrade, to go for another starter, a new starter on the team, or is it smarter to wait out this season and see what comes next?
Well, if you just look at the history of Tim Connolly and what he does the wait approach, and he doesn't make really like any type of big moves to make a change to the team. But there's no way that you look at how the Nuggets have started this year with the expectations that they had and think that this is like something that can turn around without a huge shakeup or change to the team. So I do think that this is the year that they're a lot more serious about, hey, we need to bring somebody in. Because just like Benjamin said, we can't waste Nikola Jokic's MVP season on this year, especially with the guys that they have. They are young guys, but there's also just a lot of like holes, a lot of glaring holes on the team that needs to be fulfilled. You still need a small forward, or you still need a defender. A lot of the Nuggets defenders are injured right now. So how do you fill that void? And also the guys that are also injured, they're players that are always injured. So now you're having to think about how you're going to change that. I don't say like let's just get rid of Gary Harris or anything per se, but I say let's look at Gary Harris's like past. He's always been injured when you need him, and his defense is so important that if you know that you're the best Nuggets when you have good guys on the defensive end, why not go after these defensive guys that are out there still that probably are not injury prone? So I do think that this is the year that the Nuggets take a deeper look at, hey, we still need to answer our small forward position because we lost Jimmy Grant, we lost Torrey Craig, who are our defensive anchors, and we have nobody else to fill that void.
So, Brad, what do you think is our main priority for an upgrade? Is it a smaller forward? Is it a shooting guard? Is it maybe a point guard? We do have like 5 point guards on our team, but I'm not sure either of them is perfect. I would like to see a tall guy at the point guard playing next to Jamal Murray and letting him play more often.
Move into short guard, do you think? I'd quite like to see Jamal Murray maybe move into the shooting guard. I'm interested to see how they start up tonight, because I think Tottenham was saying they might even start Facu tonight at point guard, which would be interesting to see. Although he's not a taller guy, but he's definitely a good setter, get a good analyst of the game. Yeah, I think short forward is definitely where we need to go. As you say, I mean, we lost Grant, and I think I was deeply hurt at the beginning of the season when he left, as we've mentioned quite a few times on our videos before, that it was the lateness of how he left that really hurt me, I think, the most. It didn't give us a chance to actually try and do anything else. But it's shown how much we've missed him, to be honest with you. I mean, he's having a great season down in Detroit. Obviously, Detroit aren't having a great season, but he is himself. So he's got the more minutes that he wanted and the bigger role. But yeah, so it's definitely somewhere we need to look to strengthen, for sure.
Okay, Ben, how do you look at the season Facu Campazzo had so far? Does he match your expectations? Is it lower? Is it higher? How would you grade it?
Do you know what? I wasn't sure what to expect with Campazzo coming in from the EuroLeague. He was such a dominant player in the EuroLeague and very well respected. 29-year-old rookie. I mean, we've seen a few older rookies come in, Prigioni for New York and stuff, and you can tell that he's definitely got that experience behind him. But he took some time to adapt to the NBA, which was, inevitable. But I think over the past 3 or 4 games, we've seen some really, really solid Facu performances where he's been really important in the team hanging around. He's obviously got those. His court vision is incredible. It really is, and it's funny because you can see on the court when he's on the court that he is 5'11" or you can tell that he's. Yeah, you can see that he's a shorter guy on the court, but his defense is the thing that's impressed me the most, to be honest with you. His defense he's so active and so at first I think I called him erratic at first, and I think that was a bit kind of harsh in a way. It's not so much erratic, it's more he's a pest. He really is a pest on the defensive end, and something that the Nuggets need. They really do need it. So those minutes, those on the defensive end, have been pretty valuable from Facu. So yeah, I've been impressed with him, and and we definitely need him now with losing Gary Harris. He's when it comes to ball containment, Gary Harris is our dude. PJ Dozier, we're missing PJ Dozier as well on the defensive end. Facu isn't going to give you the same kind of defense as those two are. But he's going to pester guys. He's constantly going to be moving. He's an active dude. So yeah, I'm happy with him, and he can shoot as well. I mean, it's a very quick release on that shot. It's almost like he doesn't fully extend that shooting arm, but he's made some important threes as well at times. So yeah, very impressed.
Okay, let's address now the big elephant in the room. The big thing that Nuggets season relies on. And let's move to conspiracy theory. Okay. This time around, the name is Porter Enigma. I have to be blunt. I will not share my views right now. I will share the views of fans in Serbia. No Nuggets fans in Serbia likes Porter. Nobody. And it's not his fault. He didn't get the chance to learn to play 5-on-5 basketball by his age 22. There was a lot of objective causes for this so far. On the other hand, Serbian fans don't like Malone either, because he's very stubborn about when he's playing and not playing Porter. Third piece of this puzzle, Serbian fans dislike Tim Connelly because he doesn't raid everybody and get Joker some goddamn help. So, help me solve this enigma. What's the solution? Dev, let's start with you. Do you hear us? Dev?
What's Dev?
Okay, let's move to Brad, and hopefully Dev will join us soon. So yeah. Brad, so who do we pull
it's a
here?
Puzzle. It's a big puzzle, isn't it?
Is it Michael? Is it the other Michael? Is it Tim Connelly? Who should make the first move?
I think. When we talk move, are we talking who's
all
going
right,
out
so
the door
we'll
first?
start with Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
You go.
We can hear you, Dev.
Not now.
No, he doesn't hear us.
Can you hear us, Dev?
Okay, let's move back to you, Brad. So,
okay.
Where do we start here?
It's a really tough one. I like Porter, I like Malone, and I love Tim Connelly.
All right, can you hear me now?
Very tough. Yes, we can hear you now.
Now?
Yeah.
Yes. We don't really see you, but we can hear you.
No, go on.
You want to try to reconnect, Dev? Let's move back to Brad. Okay. So you were saying
I'm still stuck in a three-man puzzle, and I don't know how to cut it down. It's tough for me because I'm a huge Porter fan, and he's struggling, and it's quite evident to see at the moment. As I said to you, I think at the beginning of the season, I think he completely went the other way of himself and focused too much on his defensive side and lost his offensive weapon. And he's not that great a defender for him to be concentrating solely on that. Malone, I like Malone. He's got us to a really nice place. And as your Romanian cousin quietly tried to say we should fire him because he's too stubborn. I think I saw that in the last game, and I actually did think at the end of the Atlanta game, I'm thinking, why has he not put MPJ in again on the 4th minute? I know he's had a bit of foul trouble, but I mean, we're struggling massively. We need some buckets, and he just left him on the sidelines, and I thought, why is he being so stubborn? I don't think I'd move him though. I can't. Something needs to happen, and I don't know where the piece is that needs to go, and it's very tough. Yeah, I don't like that question. Thank you.
It's not an easy one.
No, it's not.
I feel Dev is still freezed. So Benji, what do you say? Where do we start with this conundrum?
Okay, so Michael Porter Jr. has bags of offensive talent, and he, for all his defensive flaws, it's not for a lack of effort, right? I think with Michael Porter Jr., I have never seen it as a lack of effort. Sometimes he gets a bit frustrated in his own head, maybe. I mean, not that I'm in the guy's head, but like you can kind of see that he does try. It's just he gets a bit lost, right, from on defensive possessions. He needs time to grow into that, into the role of being the third star on the team, right? And we all want it to happen right now, because we're all so hungry to see the Nuggets get to the next level. But it's just not going to happen until he gets the time and the ability to develop through his mistakes, develop through the things that Malone doesn't like. Personally, I believe that he should be allowed to go through those growing pains more than he is. Not that I dislike Malone, but there are times in games where I think that Malone could be a little bit more, I think he wasn't actually that bad against Atlanta. I didn't think he had that bad a game. I think he was a little bit unfairly kind of, now that we know that there might be a little back issue, that kind of does answer a little bit more of it. Tim Connolly, I think, I mean, when we lost Masai Ujiri, I thought, oh no, we're not going to get any better than that, because he was so good. He was brilliant during his time with the Nuggets, and we all loved Masai Ujiri. And then now Tim Connolly comes in. And I think he did a really, really good job building the team. I think the Tim Connolly era has been where, the whole we don't skip steps kind of started, didn't it? So, it really is a difficult one, because I kind of understand that there's frustrations, and I understand why, but I just think it's a case of time. Allow it the time, because, like Brad said earlier, we are still a very young team. The Nuggets are still a young team. But Malone knows this offense, so well. The way that they run the dribble handoff through Jokic, in clutch situations, it's a 2-man game. This is a tough one, Miroslav. This really is a tough one, because I understand what you're trying. I get the both sides of the coin. Personally. Yes, well, if we're talking,
it's a complicated coin.
It is a very complicated coin. No, I think we need to just give it time. I don't think anyone should be moved. Personally, that's just my choice. I'd like to see time. Even if the season doesn't go very well, even if we get to the playoffs, first round knockout, and it's just not the season that Nuggets fans anticipated, I still believe in this team, and I still believe in the group. The core group of players, they're built around Jokic, then Murray, and then we have other pieces, including MPJ. Hopefully MPJ can become that third star with time to develop. So I think the key to it is time.
Okay, Dev, I hope we have you back now. So we have Michael Porter, we have Michael Malone, and we have Tim Connolly, and one of those three guys needs to do something for the Porter experience to be better than it is right now. So who's it going to be? What would you say?
I think it actually, the person that you can't give it to is Tim Connolly, because I mean, he made the right decision by drafting Michael Porter Jr. Like, his ceiling is so high, and at the time they did not need Michael Porter Jr. to be a team that was on the rise. They had two young stars in Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, who was becoming a superstar at the time. So he went out there and did exactly what he was supposed to, like what he had to do. And also, we can't be mad at Tim Connolly, because I mean, he's one of the people that went out of his comfort zone and went and drafted a player from Serbia who was just destroying in a small league, and put him in the national stage and let him show that he's one of the best players in the entire world. So we cannot be mad at Tim Connolly. When we get to Michael Malone, for instance, there is things that Michael Malone does need to work on, but I think that I'm not sure how you guys as parents are, but I have strict parents. And with strict parents, they try to set you up for not right now, but for things that you have to see later on down the road. And they try to protect all of the flaws that you have and all of the negative points that you have. So I think that what Malone tries to do is he tries to hide the flaws that everyone else does see when it comes to Michael Porter Jr., the defensive woes and things like that, even though he's challenging them, and he puts them on the bench, and he actually does actually punish his players when they're not playing up to par or playing the correct way. But he also understands that we have a player that is very, very talented, that once he does figure it out, that's when we're going to be at our best. And right now, Michael Porter Jr. has not figured it out, so he still has to be punished. You just can't give him the keys and try to figure it out, because at the end of the day, he's not the best player on the team. Nikola Jokic is the best player on the team. So you're not trying to figure out Michael Porter Jr. You need Michael Porter Jr. to figure out how to play alongside Nikola Jokic. So the answer is Michael Porter Jr. is the player that has to make the changes, because at the end of the day, he's not the franchise player. He's not the player that everything depends on. He's not the player that every single other team in the league is looking at and saying, hey, we need to stop that guy. Nikola Jokic is that guy. So Michael Porter Jr. needs to figure out ways to play off the ball, cut when he needs to. He also needs to be a player, because he's already had, I think the thing that everyone forgets is, although he's young, although it seems like he's a rookie, he's played like his 1 year in the league. I think he's at like right under a whole year. He had a year to figure out how the game adjusted. He had a whole year to look and see how plays work and try to figure it out. So he really is behind the curve more than we actually realize that he is. But since we're here, like, we have to figure out what's going on with him and try to keep him up. So really, Michael Porter Jr. is the person that once he does figure out, that's when the Nuggets unlock their best selves. But until he does, then, you have to rely on Jokic, who's the best player in the world. And that becomes tough, because then you have games like their last game where if he has an off night, there's no chance that they win. They just can't win without their best player playing well. And he's had so much on his back, and he's had to carry the load for so long that he affords a night off. He affords one night that he's not at his best, and you can't fault him for that. There's no one that should say Jokic looks like not okay. Like, no, he looks amazing. He had one night off after playing 20-something games straight of playing out of his mind and showing that he's a superstar. So everyone else needs to figure it out. There's no wrong with my Serbian brother.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. You're so poetic, man. Okay, so let's now move to another guy who had a lot of misses at the beginning of this season, but then he reminded us how much we love him, and that's, of course, Jamal Murray. So, is Jamal back? You should be glad to hear less and less Serbian fans are trading Jamal right now, except for Bradley Beal. For Bradley Beal, they're still trading Jamal for, of course.
Obviously.
So who do you like the best next to Jamal going forward this season? Is it Gary when he's back? Is it Monte? Is it Will? Is it Facu? I'm, of course, talking about the second guard position. So let's start with Brad. who would you like to see the most next to Jamal?
Personally, Monty. I like Monty Morris. I think he's one of the most underrated, best bench players there is out there in the NBA. I love Monty Morris. I'm all in for Monty. So that's my answer. I don't need to go in any detail. I don't think. I just love Monty. So I'm all up. I'm in.
Okay. Ben, what do you say?
I mean, I love Monte Morris. I adore. I don't think there's been a Nugget that I love more than Monte Morris in a long, long time. I just adore that. Every time he's on the court, I just think that's my dude. But I love him running the bench unit, and because he runs the bench unit. And if we can get Gary Harris back to, remember when at the start of the season, Gary Harris was shooting abysmal from three, really had a poor start to the season shooting wise. Then he came back and he started shooting really, really well, back to kind of, Gary Harris shooting percentage. If we can get that Gary Harris back fully healthy, the way he plays on the defensive end, plus with the cohesion that he already has in the backcourt with Jamal Murray, I'm going to have to just say Gary.
Okay. Dev.
I have two answers. I think if we have to go in the regular season, a full 82 games, or this year it's shortened. But for the full year, I would say I would like Jamal Murray to be off of the ball just so he could get his confidence up and be able to score and be his explosive self. So putting a player like Monte Morris or Will Barton next to him is going to be, it's going to do good for him, because those are two players that understand that they're not the best players on the team. They're going to do their job and get everyone involved. And the Nuggets they're the best when Jamal Murray is being explosive and also helping Jokic as a scorer. But then if we're talking about in the playoffs or in a bubble setting, the answer has to be Gary Harris, just because you need defense. You need someone at the point of attack that's going to stop other guards from coming and just attacking Jamal and Jokic, because it all starts with how the defense is going. So if you're starting out games with the lead, then, it feels a lot better. But if you're having to play catch up and you don't have other guys that can score around him or even stop the bleeding at times, it makes it really difficult. So I think Gary Harris, because he offers the defensive portion of it. But if you need someone to just score and have the Nuggets at their best, then that's when Jamal Murray is going off. So you need another point guard that gives him the ability to just shoot instead of facilitate.
Yes, I will give you a different answer just to make everything more interesting. So for regular season only, of course, not for playoffs, I would love to see Facu starting next to Jamal, because the two-man game between Facu and Jokic, and then you add a flamethrower in Jamal Murray, like a special option that's available all the time. There's just atomic offense. I have no idea what would be the defensive rating, probably 130, but if we score 135, who cares? It's fine by me. So yeah, I would say Denver right now has a lot of options, and I'm not happy about any of them, to be completely honest. If we want to win the championship this year, I don't think we have the perfect partner for Jamal, but we'll see. If we get Gary to the full speed before the playoffs, that's probably the best solution for playoffs. Okay, now we will move to a little game that I called Get Jokic Some Help. Now, this is not as dark as you think it is, because it has nothing to do with the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic was just selected as a starter at the All-Star game. And if you remember, when Giannis was one of the captains that was drafting the team, he was really bad at it. He drafted some really not top shelf players on his team. So I don't know who was against them. Was it Steph Curry? Who was on the other side? I don't remember. But anyway, Giannis was really bad. And let's imagine one of LeBron or Durant will be really bad at drafting this time again. Help me find the perfect 4 guys around Nikola Jokic, because this time we will have Elam ending again like last year. So the fourth quarter will most probably be starters against starters, some really competitive game. So let's see who Nikola has as a possibility. So on backcourt, we have Luka, we have Steph, Kyrie Irving, and Bradley Beal. And on frontcourt, we have either James or Durant. We cannot have both because they're team captains. We have Kawhi, Giannis, and Embiid. So let's start with Brad. Which 4 guys do you choose for Nikola?
I would go backcourt, Luka. Personally, I think I'd go Bill.
You can go with four backcourt guys. No rules.
No, I'm not that brave. I'm going to go Luka, Bill, James, and Giannis. A bit, yeah. I'm going to go with that. Let's go with that. Oh, I don't know the front court. Yeah. Don't know the front court. Anyway, let's go with that. That's my pick for now. I might come back in a minute.
Okay, no problem. Benji?
I'm writing it down.
I'm going to take Steph Curry in any situation that you give me a list of any guys. If it doesn't have Jokic on it, I'm going Steph. And give me Bradley Beal as well. Oh no, Luka Doncic is Luka Doncic as well. Yeah, give me Steph and give me Beal as my backcourt. Give me Durant. Got shooter. Haven't got defense in there. Got no defense in there really. A bit of Durant. Okay, if I've got no defense in there, then give me Jan or Kawhi really. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go Durant, Steph, Beal, and Giannis. No, Kawhi. I take Kawhi over Giannis. I'll take Kawhi over Giannis.
Okay.
That's me. Book it.
Okay, Dev. Who you got?
So the best lineup that he could possibly do, first off, like you said, Steph would be your first thing. Like that'd be the most nuclear offense like of all time if you got to play Nikola Jokic with Steph, just because you would have a 1-2 punch of inside out. But also, I just love the idea that Jokic does not have to score, and I don't think he wants to score. He just wants to get everyone else involved and do whatever they want. So I think that Steph will be fun with him. Luka, of course, they're both like-minded players that, kind of play. They're unselfish and just make the right plays. Kyrie would be fun just because I think Jokic would be like, that's cool. Like, that's just cool. He would just like sit back sometimes and watch that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Bill, of course, we want Bill around because everyone wants Bill to the Nuggets. So like they could try to like build their relationship really quickly to get them around. I think he'll be amazing with LeBron just because they're two of the smartest players in the world. I know everyone doesn't like Kawhi, but I think that him and Kawhi will be super duper fun. He has a guy that he's never had, a lockdown defender that's able to score. I think that would be the most perfect teammate that he's ever had, actually. I don't want to see him next to Giannis because they're just both going to just be in the paint. It'll force him to shoot threes the entire time. I don't want to see him with Embiid because he's better than Embiid and they play the same positions. So I think I would go with Steph, Beal, of course, Luka, and LeBron.
Nice. I will fulfill 2 of my wet dreams right now because first one is getting finally to see Luka and Nikola on the same team before I die. That would be really, really nice to see. So Luka will be there, and now I will fulfill another wet dream, and that's 4 playmakers around Nikola Jokic. Imagine like 5 ball handlers.
But I don't know, the NBA season is long. If you had them, like, you can't have that many wet dreams every single night that they play. You would not have enough underwear for one. It would be too much stimulation. I don't think you could do that, man.
Yeah, one thing you forgot, guys. this is the All-Star game. This is not the season. So on All-Star game, nobody plays defense. I don't need defensive guys.
That's
so
very true.
Give me Luka, because nobody will play defense. So give me Luka, give me Steph, and then give me James, and give me the underrated playmaker in Kawhi. Kawhi is a really good playmaker, especially last couple of seasons. This season, he has like 6-7 assists per game. This is based on nothing. I have no idea how many assists he has per game, but he started really strong with the assists. I didn't check it recently. So yeah, Luka, Steph, James, and Kawhi. And to be honest, I have no idea how the other team guards that. Of course, I have no idea how my team guards the other one, but as we said, no defense on the All-Star game. Okay, this was fun.
Can I ask a quick question based on this? I haven't seen one in a while, but just a quick one. Who wins the tip?
Yeah, the other team.
Well, what they put Giannis, they will probably put Giannis out there. He's like the most athletic out of everyone.
He's going to win it, and he's just going to win it wherever team.
Yeah, I wouldn't even put him like he could get hurt on the opening tip off. Like that's not going to help you. So you would go with Giannis, the most athletic guy out there, and he's going to beat everybody on here.
Yeah,
I put him in my team. I'm good.
Point.
Yeah, I just wanted to put Giannis and Embiid on the same team so they can hate each other because nobody can shoot. Well, Embiid could actually shoot from the outside, but he's not really a shooter.
When he wants.
So okay. Now for the last segment of today's show, of tonight's show, we'll just briefly preview the game against Portland. So if you're a maniac like my friend Milan from Nuggets Serbia, you will get up at 3:30, watch the DNVR pregame show, then watch the game, then watch the DNVR postgame show. And for the rest of us, winner's lunch. That's right. And there are some really cool streaks in the NBA. You can say Michael Jordan had like 6 straight titles in 6 finals series. Then you have LeBron James appearing at 9 consecutive final series when he was back in the East. But there is one more impressive series than that. And that's Carmelo Anthony's 10 years without a win in Denver. So is this series going to be broken tonight? I mean, Portland is on the second night of the back-to-back. Carmelo is there. Is there any hope for Portland tonight?
I just thought about it. Once you said that, the answer is no, absolutely not happening. Like, I think that he sold his soul to the devil. He was like, hey, you cannot win in Denver. If you leave there, you will never win there again. Like, I just need you to know that. And that's what's been happening, is because they've had some really good teams. He's been on some good groups. There's circumstances where they should have lost. Carmelo should have came in Denver and won, but he just can't. And I don't see it happening now. Both teams are trying to figure it out. But also the Nuggets, they feel like it's not like a do or die moment, but it's like a moment where they bounce back. We just seen the Nuggets go through a rough patch and then play Utah Jazz, who no one could seem to beat. And then the Nuggets put together their best game of the year. There's some teams, there's certain matchups that the Nuggets do get up for, and they come out and play their best. And Portland and Utah are division foes, but those are 2 teams that I think that they truly do take personal. So no, Carmelo, you cannot come into Denver and win.
Okay, and what are your starters for Denver tonight?
I think that they do try to switch it up. Maybe I think that they go with, because Portland does not have a big lineup, so you don't have to see Zeke Naji for the second time unless Malone just wants to prove a point to say, like, hey, he really wasn't that bad, even though he was bad. He tries to save him and try to put him in for the second time. But I think that Facu would be the person that goes into the starting lineup today. I think that he wants to keep that second unit together with Monte, or you could go with Monte. So I think it comes down to Monte or Facu, putting them in the starting lineup, seeing how Jokic plays alongside I'm sorry, not Jokic. Murray plays at the 2 guard and comes off of that with a matchup that's not that big. So I would go with Facu if I had to choose.
So Jamal, Facu, and then Porter.
Yep, Porter.
Will.
Will, and then Jokic.
And then
Probably Jokic. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Benji, what do you expect tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Portland just, I mean, on paper, especially with the injuries that they've got, they shouldn't be winning as many games as they are. But Damian Lillard is so good, and he's refusing to let them lose games. Gary Trent Jr., that is a scary dude, man. Like, I've noticed it for a couple of the last couple of times we've played them. And I keep seeing it around the league as well. And every time I've seen anything on Portland, his name keeps popping up. That dude is a bona fide stud, man. And I've got a lot of respect for that guy. He plays hard. He shoots the ball incredibly well. So we got to keep an eye on him tonight. And obviously Lillard. Because Gary Trent's come in and filled the void that CJ's left. And they've been winning some games. They've lost some games, but you know they're doing a lot better than expected. Portland, they don't really necessarily scare me because they're not a very good defensive team. But then again, that not being scared of a team scares me even more sometimes because you know the Nuggets tend to play down to their opponents occasionally, and I still say play down to the Blazers because on paper we're a much better team than they are. I think we take this one. But I think we do it in Nuggets fashion. I think we, you know, it's not going to be a blowout. It's gonna be one of those. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it though because I think, you know, it'd be good to get back on the home floor after a really, really painful road trip. You know, there were 4 very winnable games, and come out of there 1-3. It's not great. So we're looking to get back on good terms. So. Yeah, I think we come out with a win, but I don't think it's going to be in emphatic fashion.
Okay, Brad.
Yeah, I want to go against these guys because you know, can't all have the same opinion. I think Anthony's going to break his streak now. I think we will win. Yeah, I just think whenever we've stared adversity in the face this season, we seem to have kicked our way back out of it quite emphatically. So I think we'll win quite comfortably. I think I've on the Nuggets auto generate a score at 109 to 100, so that'll do. Take that by 9 points, I think. I think one name I haven't heard mentioned lately has been Robert Covington, who I actually quite wanted in Denver before he went to Portland, but he started the season a bit sluggish, but seems to be kicking into another gear now, which is worrying. Bad timing for us, but hey, we'll see. But yeah, no, it should be good. Get back on the homestand would be nice. Get some wins back in the W column and kick our way back up the table a bit.
Yeah, okay. Quick questions. Jokic, triple-double or not? Dev?
I say yes. I think he's just going to score on Cantor at will, as everyone else does. Also, I think that he understands that other people need to be involved. So, yes.
Benji?
Absolutely. I'll always say yes to that question. Every single game.
Brad?
Just a double-double for me, I think, tonight. I think he's going to take it easy.
Okay, rebounds or assists?
Assists, no rebounds. I think he's going to be late. He's going to take it easy tonight.
30 points, 20 assists?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. About that.
1 rebound?
50 points. He's just, not going to take any rebounds. Let someone else do that tonight.
Dev, who scores more, Jamal or Dame?
Dame Lillard, of course. It is Jamal Murray's birthday, so I did try to take that into account for him today. But Lillard's just at a different level of scoring. Also, his team relies on him to score. They don't have many other scorers on the team, so they need him to shoot the ball every single time. The Nuggets don't need Jamal to shoot the ball every single time, so I think that comes into play.
Benji?
Is Jokic going to return the birthday favor that
Murray gave
to him? Sorry, what was the question? I was just thinking about that 50 piece now.
So Jamal or Dame? Who scores more
Jamal or
points
Dame? Lillard will probably outscore him. I think the last time I was asked a question like this was against the Knicks, and it was who's going to score more points, Julius Randle or Jamal Murray. I went with Jamal Murray in that game, even though Julius Randle had been playing really well. I don't like. I'm such a homer for the Nuggets, so I do not like ever saying it's not. But just for the just to keep it real, Dame will probably outscore Jamal tonight because he takes on the load of the scoring, especially with all those guys out.
Yeah.
Brad.
No, I'm going against him. Murray's gonna smash it. 50 points as well. Come on, just them two are gonna score. No, I think seriously Lillard will definitely score more than Murray.
Yes, I will join you. I think Murray will have more points than Dame because Dame will not be playing in the fourth quarter. How about that? Let's have a blowout tonight, guys. Let's do it. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. Please watch DNVR show. You're probably already watching DNVR show because if you're not, what the hell are you doing? So watch Dev tonight at 3:30 Serbian time, 2:30 UK time, and I guess it's 7:30 Denver time. In case you need to see more Dev today. So thank you, lads, for spending time with me, and we will see you some other time.
Yeah. Before I go, I'll just say thank you guys for having me.
Sure.
Thanks for having me, and also. Everyone talks about them being the best, like the biggest Denver Nuggets fans. I don't think that's true. I think you guys are the biggest Nuggets fans in the world. You guys get up at 3 and 4 in the morning. Nobody's getting up to watch a team at 3 and 4 in the morning in the United States. Like, it just doesn't happen. There's the lover soccer fans that occasionally do, but on an every single night NBA basis, there's not people that are like you guys. So I think that's beautiful. And also, I am now Serbian, so I'm going to have to come out there and visit and watch a game at 3 in the morning.
Oh, yes, you are.
Absolutely.
Yes, you are. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, guys.
Good night. The best.
Nuggets Srbija, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, zvonce, stisnite, like, share, komentar, MySpace, na blogu, u novinama smo sutra, gledajte nas. To je to.